Well, hello there. Welcome to Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition going mostly solo episode 4, where we will be picking up where we left off at the southern end of Beregost and making our way down to Nashkel to find out what all the fuss is about. And also, I promised you to tell you why it's a very, very good idea to go down to Nashkel as soon as you can if you are playing a kind of like a warrior class, so you know, a fighter, a ranger, that kind of thing. Anyone who can fit the the really, really heavy armors. So we're gonna go due south. We're gonna just basically hope that we don't get ambushed by bandits, because we do have quite a way to go to Nashkel. So there are actually two areas of little wilderness and forest between us in Beregost here right now, and we can't reach Nashkel directly. We have to go here to the South Beregost Road, is its kind of like unofficial name. So we will travel there and hopefully not get waylaid along the way, because this has been intimated in the the background plot so far. This region is unsettled and a little bit dangerous at the moment, so we'll see how we go. Okay, so a 4-hour walk, and yeah, we didn't get attacked, which is nice. So we can take a wander down the road. In this particular area, there isn't really that much to really get excited about. So we're just gonna go down the road, and we're gonna bump into a little scripted encounter of two Ogrillians, which are kind of anemic ogres, who will probably be quite a challenge for a level 2 thief. But I do have my brand new +1 shortbow, so hopefully I'll be able to hit them a little bit more easily than I did in the previous video, where I couldn't hit the side of a barn door from about 6 feet. So there are two of them. So I want to just creep sneakily along the road. I actually, even though my sneaking skills are not terribly good, I could actually try hiding in the shadows, and of course my rank in those particular skills is not exactly stellar, so it's no surprise that I actually failed to actually hide in the shadows, even though it's night time. Well, we'll just have to do it the old-fashioned way, and just be a little bit careful and a little bit wary rather than being sneaky. And hopefully we'll put enough points into hide in shadows and move silently to be able to be a bit more sneaky a bit later in the game. And there's our Agrillian. And it looks like he's standing over a dead body, which is never a particularly good sign. Good news, they don't carry weapons, but they do hit very hard, so it's quite handy that I've got quite a few potions of healing, so I can afford to lose a few hit points. But I'm going to open up with my wand of magic missile just to get a cheap hit in before I actually engage him with my ranged weapon, and hopefully the other Agrillian, who's on the other side of the body, hasn't noticed me quite yet, because it's going to be a lot easier to deal with these guys one at a time rather than both at the same time, particularly if I'm doing the old Benny Hill trick, kiting him around the woods. Okay, so just moving. Run away, Sir Robin. Brave, brave Sir Robin. Come on. Oof, dear oh dear, that was close. Of course, I don't want to drift too far away from the road and actually just spawn another enemy, particularly because in this area, at this end of the map, you can actually encounter vampiric wolves who require magical weapons to actually damage, and they've got like 50 hit points, which is 3 times more than I've got, so I don't really want to be encountering any one of them. But our Agrillian friend is badly injured. He needs another couple of solid hits. And there's one of them. See if we can get the last one before we go and get the other guy. Oh, there we go. So if I'd been level 1, that would have been me dead. I'm just going to pop that healing potion. And I get a almost worthless Zircon gem for my troubles, but 175 experience points. It's actually pretty good. When I pop the other one, I'll almost be to my next level, so as a trade for 1 healing potion, I can live with that. I just have to try and keep a little bit of a better distance with the other guy, or maybe actually hit him with my bow might be a good idea. There he goes. I'll just shoot one more of these. I have plans for this wand of magic missile, but we need to get to the carnival in Nashkel to really talk about that. Okay, cheap hit. It's only 3 damage, but I need to have words with my character's archery trainer, because I can shoot arrows better than this in real life. Three misses in a row. Thanks very much. That's 4. So either this is a very nimble Agrillian, or Parison is just a crap shot. I think, keeping him on with the Star Wars Solo theme, he's probably training to be a Stormtrooper, because he's about as good a shot. 5 misses, come on! Jesus. Okay. So this is going well. Are you ever actually going to hit him? This is one of the things that, when you're playing solo, it's a better idea to have a character with a really high strength, because even though your Thakao is crap at the first couple of levels, you get a bit more of a bonus to hit. Because I've only got the strength of 17, it just means I keep missing all the time. And again. Come on. This has got to be the most useless thief I've ever played. Okay. Let's see if I can get 2 hits in. Oh! 3 whole damage. Thanks very much. Until we get another couple of levels on this guy, we're probably going to be doing this a lot, particularly with the more capable and higher hit point enemies. Come on, you should have killed about 6 gibberlings by now. I almost started humming yakety sax there. But I did promise not to subject you to that, so... Fortunately, we are just that little bit faster than the Ogrillion, so... It's just a matter of time, you know, whether you're going to lose patience and actually go to a more interesting video before I kill this guy. See, even that threat to the computer didn't actually help. And that little pathfinding was, took me dangerously close as well. Thank you. Goodness. Now, he's got a scroll. Was it really worth the effort? Actually, this is a letter that kicks off a side quest that I will hand in when I go back to Beregost, because the reward for it is quite good. But yeah, more on that a little bit later, because we spent about half an hour, or that's what it feels like, running around this bleeding this bleeding bit of forest. Now over here somewhere there's a cave. There's also a sunken house as well, which doesn't have anything interesting in it, but the cave does. Well, there's the roof of the house. So I think it's south of here, if I'm remembering correctly. So, yeah. It's a submerged, deserted house. Not terribly interesting. Well, in the sense that you can't actually do anything with it. Whereas in this cave, there are actually quite a few little of these health potions. So having used a couple... looks like I'm going to have to go by these hobgoblins to get it. So let's see how the combat here works out. That's a good start, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. When I go back to Beregost, I think I'm definitely going to have to get some +1 arrows, because this is a little bit painful. Oh! That 35 experience from the Hobgoblin has actually got us to scrape over the next level. So, oh, we've improved our to hit armor class 0, so we might actually make a little bit of progress. Right, I'm going to leave the pickpocket skill. I'm going to just chuck an extra 5 in open locks. I will put 10 in find traps and 5 each in the move silently and hide in shadows. At this stage of the game, find traps is, you know, going to be more important than picking pockets and sneaking around. And it's always good to have a nice high open lock skill. But we're only really going to need the find traps when we actually get to the Nashkel mines. So we got a little bit of time to build up that skill. So level 3 in just, you know, a couple of hours. And as you'll have probably seen by now, if you don't know how the leveling works, essentially once you get past level 2, you need to double the amount of experience that you have to get to the next level. So I've got 2,500-ish, and I need to get 2,500-ish to get to the next level. So just to put this in perspective, 2,500 experience points is what you'd need to get a mage from first level to second level. So you can probably deduce by now, actually having this rapid leveling that you get with a thief is quite a significant advantage, particularly at the beginning of the game like this. So I'm going to leave this common trash loot. Bastard swords are heavy. and they're not really worth that much money. So if I had a party with more inventory space, you know, you could collect it all and you know, sell it on. But I'm not too worried about money because I only have one person to spend it on. So let me just check where we are. Okay. So we'll just have a little scan around the area. Knock off a few more hobgoblins. So, oh, that did a little bit of more damage than last time. And you see his little cursor has turned yellow. This means that he's had a bit of a panic and a courage failure, and it's his turn to do the Sir Robin. So let's use our katana since he's got in nice and close, and hopefully finish him off. Oh no! Yeah, thieves not the most natural fighter class. Especially in melee. Oh my. Oh, actually, I'm going to need to run away. And now he has as well. Okay, back to range weapons. Arrow in the back. Yeah, probably not the most dignified way of killing anybody, but after all, he is a thief. So I picked up a little protection from evil scroll here. I'm going to put it in my scroll case so it doesn't clog up my inventory. There is actually a gem bag as well in the game which will hold multiple gems. I don't have it quite yet because you need to steal it from one of the NPCs that they added to the game for the extended enhanced edition. She's a wild mage called Nera who we avoided in the previous area Beregost. Oh, okay, another hobgoblin. Oh, I managed to hit something. Oh, that's excellent. I'll get some free ammunition. The rest can stay where it is. I'm going to try and find this cave. Hopefully without bumping into a vampiric wolf along the way, because if that happens, I don't stand a chance really. I'm just going to have to run. Ooh, okay. So this is another scripted event. Ogres on the breeze. Yeah, okay. I've already killed those 2 Ogrillians, so I'm not going to be terribly worried about that. I'm more concerned with finding this darned cave. Oh, hello. Another hobgoblin. Okay, Harrison's reverted to Stormtrooper mode again. Come on, it's a big ugly hobgoblin. Nice big target to aim at. Thank you. Oh, and excellent. This, as you can probably see, is magical loot. Zerlong is a NPC in one of the inns I told you not to go into in Beregost. He gives you a quest to retrieve his boots from these nasty hobgoblins. Even though they are, I haven't identified them. This is one of the few exceptions where I know exactly what these are. So I don't actually need to identify them before I actually put them on. And if you take a quick look at my statistics screen, obviously no modification to the armor class, but my move silently and hide in shadow skill has just got bumped up, which is saves me putting points into them. So until I get a better set of magical boots a little bit later in the game when I get to Cloakwood, these will do. Most boots, I don't think there are... What is that? Oh, it's a gibbeling. Most of the boots don't really affect your armor class that much, but they do give you other bonuses that are, you know, quite worth having. And this is, in the early game at least, these are the best boots that a thief can have. So they're also useful for a ranger who is a bit sneaky, because, you know, they have the hide in shadows and move silently skill as well. Okay, because this is a gibbeling and he's injured, I'm going to try and finish him off in melee, because this running away thing is getting old, and he can't even hit a gibbeling. My God, Harrison, you are genuinely useless, aren't you? Oh my word, this is painful. Deary me. 35 experience points and 3 gold. Well, it'll pay for some arrows at least. Okay. Now, I could actually just, you know, look up online the coordinates of this cave, but you know, why not? I'm just going to keep wandering around until I find it. I think it's south of here, but you know, while we have black undiscovered country on the area map, might as well get rid of it in this particular area, because it will be... We're probably not actually going to come back here, because once you've, you know, been to an area once you get to the edge of a little map area, you can revisit it without having to actually walk through in real time each of the individual areas on the map. So this is, because this isn't really an area that's actually critical to the story, you only really need to come here once, because there aren't really that many side quests here even. We have another gibbeling. And of course I keep missing. I hope you understand that this is as tiresome for me as it is for you watching. Come on, kill him. Thank you. Alright. I suppose I could have got a couple of cheap hits in with the wand missiles, but as I said, I have special plans for it. I mean, the missiles themselves don't actually do a huge amount of damage, up to about 4 hit points each, which isn't great, even in the early game here. I think the utility of the wand is mainly for when you're actually fighting Tarnesh at the friendly arm, just to kind of like stop him from spellcasting. Oh, we have another enemy. He's another hobgoblin. Oh, and he has a friend. I shouldn't have moved, because that's going to make things interesting. Alright. Okay, Sir Robin, get out of the way of the archer. And yes, I'm going to keep running, because apparently he can't hit his own face with his melee weapon. So... oh, bloody hell. Remember what I said at the beginning of the last video about being careful not to run into areas that uncovered extra enemies? It would be good if I could follow my own advice, wouldn't it? Oh, goodness sake, you're so slow. And this time I don't actually have a potion oil of speed to help me. Okay, that's one down. And I just loot the scroll because I'm going to sell it later. Oh, that's a fairly decent hit. I mean, these guys, they only have about 8 hit points. So, there we are. Oh, the scroll of magic missile. So we can go back and get this archer now. Grab some free ammo. I don't think that's the same guy. So I'm probably going to take fire from another archer fairly soon. Okay, just grab a little bit more distance. It's a little bit like when I'm rolling dice in real life. Oh, for goodness sake. It's... oh, hello. Okay, so, a necklace. It's got some nice gems in it. I'm just going to wear it because even though it doesn't give me any bonuses, it just keeps the inventory free. So I'll file away my scrolls while I'm at it and see if we can find that straggling hobgoblin who has about 4 hit points left. It'll probably take me another 3/4 of an hour to kill. Come on, where are you? Oh, okay. He doesn't appear to be in the area anymore. Okay, well.
I serve the flaming fist.
Oh, hello. Honestly, I'm innocent. I'm not part of a bandit band. Bandit band? Okay. I need to work on a little bit more of a script. Oh well. Yeah. Just convince him to say, no, please don't kill us. We're actually we're not that bad. We're here to help. And he will wander off. So, have I missed the cave? Let's just have a quick look at the map. There it is. That's quite difficult to see in the dark. But it will be worth it in the end. So these caves are dotted around. Some of them have lovely monsters in, but you can see that there's a little open crate here that has a little bit of gold and 5 very useful healing potions in there, which are at this stage with my reputation are like would cost me 500-600 gold to buy. So very useful indeed, particularly when I'm so crap in combat at the moment. So that's everything I need to do in this area. Of course, now we find the archer and keep missing him. Thank you. So I'll get some free ammo. Actually, and I get a nice ring as well. I'm just going to drop that because I don't need it. Top up my arrows. So, bog standard ring. Again, to save space, I'll just pop it up there. Okay. So, a little bit longer than I expected to find the healing potions, but we got there in the end. So now I can go south after I kill this gibberling. If I can kill this gibberling. There we are. Right. I'm noticing we got a little bit of lag, so I think I'm actually going to kill Twitter because it memory leaks in Firefox, so just bear with me. So there we are. So you may have gotten a nice view of one of my Elite Dangerous screenshots while I was just busy in my other monitor. Sorry about that. So here we go. Another gibberling. Practice makes perfect, I guess. And of course, as I keep saying, I'm after XP, so we've actually got a fair bit of XP out of those little random encounters, but I think it is time to move on. So this is the North Nashkel area. So we have to go through here as well before we can actually get to Nashkel, where it will be worth the effort.
Not a problem.
Again, you probably don't need to go to this area more than once. There's not a huge amount to do in here in terms of exploration and side quests. There are no useful things like caves full of health potions, so I'm not really going to hang around here too much, but as I said, in these particular areas, it is possible that you might run into the odd vampiric wolf, which would probably be fatal at this point because he's got twice as many hit points as I do, and I don't actually have weapons capable of getting rid of his hit points. And of course, being vampiric, when it bites you, it heals itself. Other things to watch out for in this area are hobgoblin elites. They carry poisoned arrows, which are a little bit of a problem, especially because I don't have any ability to I don't have any antidote to get rid of any poisons, and between me and the exit down here, there's a hobgoblin encampment, so I'm going to tread carefully and to try not to aggro too many people. That was kind of inevitable, wasn't it? It was almost like I planned it. Okay, so Robin out the way. And just wait for him to come back into range. And we've got another nice necklace. Probably a good point to actually have a save. Actually, I kind of changed my mind. I'm actually going to just try and kill everything. Gamer's prerogative. Because even though there's nothing in here that's terribly valuable or magical, I can do with the gold, because yeah, I showed you the armor that I would like to get for this character. So, ooh, 23 gold. That's quite a lot for a hobgoblin. So, the sooner I get that, 16,000 gold pieces, the sooner I get that armor. So actually, I'm going to wander up into the encampment and just try and pick off the enemies one by one. So we're in a crap dueling exchange now. Just like 2 hit points each. It's like any time today. It's fine. So I was lucky to lose only 2 hit points. And now we have a little bit of a problem, because I would like to see if one of these guys has a bow or not. I think he does. Yeah, he does, but I got a good hit in. Excellent. So let's nab his ammo and his gold and retreat to a moderately safe distance. So, the kiting Sir Robin technique. While not the most honourable tactic in the world, it's fairly effective. But it does help if you have a larger Thakao. I suppose at some point I should actually do a separate video to explain all the acronyms, if you're not familiar with them. I will try and use the long version before using the acronym to kind of explain them, and hopefully you'll pick them all up along the way. But we'll see how we go, and if anyone does want an actual video explaining all the terms, then we can do that at a later date, of course. Right, so we can see there's a really nice necklace here, and it's unusual in that it has a name attached to it, a family name. So I'm actually going to wear this for the moment, if I actually pick the right one, because I can actually give this back to the patriarch of the family, and he'll give me a little bit of experience, which again will all help. So this family lives in Beregost somewhere, I think near Firebeard's home, so I'm not going to go back to Beregost for a little while, so wearing it at least until I get another necklace that's worth wearing more, and we'll sort that out when we get to the Nashkel carnival. It just saves a little bit of space in the inventory more than anything else. So now that we've scummed enough XP from this particular area and got the only really items worthy of note, we can just go straight to Nashkel now. So you probably have noticed by now that BioWare like this foreshadowing business. This is Basil Exposition, if you're familiar with that character from the Austin Powers movies. He is alluding to the fact that after BioWare finish making the Baldur's Gate series, they're going to make Neverwinter Nights, which hasn't aged nearly as well as this particular thing. Again, this is just a little bit of colour. It doesn't really matter, which thing which dialogue option you choose, but I quite like this middle line of dialogue where he's doubting the actual existence of Neverwinter, because obviously the game hasn't been made yet. Perhaps not yet, but soon. Thank you for that, Basil Exposition. See you in Neverwinter. Well, actually, you don't see him again, but that's beside the point. Okay, so that's North Nashkel done. We survived with only, 2 hit points worth of damage, and let's hope that we don't run into bandits on the way to Nashkel. It's a nice little cutscene to show you the town. Yeah.
With your hurried flight from Candlekeep barely behind you, the troubles facing the Sword Coast
And we
seem
start a new
unfamiliar
chapter.
blur to your fractured nerves. Gorion would not have you sit idle, however, and perhaps investigating local concerns will shed some light on your own predicament. How the iron shortage or the trouble in the Nashkel mines could possibly be linked to you, you have no idea.
So, Nashkel, it seems, is a very troubled town. You can see a whole load of troops here. Now, I said there was a very, very good reason to come to Nashkel. Not only because it, hurries the story on a bit, but if you don't go straight into town, but instead go to the western edge of the map and just go south. Remember the little trick of holding down tab can show you little cubby holes and places where you can interact with objects. The first time I played the game, I'd been told about the ring on top of the stone in the coastway, but this one I actually found kind of like by accident on my own, just by actually, wandering around, clearing the fog of unexploredness from the map, and just checking to see if there was anything to interact with. And this looks like a bog standard field, but what is that? Well, let's pick it up, and I'll show you. We have a pearl, which is a quite valuable gem, and this, Ankeg plate mail. So if I just show you the actual text in here, this is a very, very good set of plate mail. So obviously the thief can't use it because he's not allowed to actually use this particular type of mail. If you were to, try and buy this, in the original version of the game, you actually used to be able to farm Ankegs, take their kind of like a chitin armor plates to Thunderhammer in Beregost, and if you waited a few days and paid him a load of money, he would actually make you a set. So you could kind of like equip all of your frontline tank, fighter, warrior class people in your party with Ankeg plate, which is quite a good thing to do. You don't seem to be able to do that in the enhanced edition, or maybe I just haven't figured out how to do it. And this is the only set of Ankeg plate that I've actually found within the game. So the big advantage of this particular set of plate mail is that it's really light compared to full plate, which has a very similar armor class. The bonuses to slashing and piercing and missile damage is not quite as good for Ankeg plate compared to the full plate. And when we if we go back to Thunderhammer, I can actually show that these numbers are a little bit better for the Ankeg plate. Sorry, for the full plate. But this stuff is effectively the second best armor you can get in the entire game for people who are able to, who aren't excluded by class from wearing plate mail. And you can pick it up within a couple of hours of the start, and couple that with a heavy shield +1, and the little ring of protection, and someone with a really decent dexterity and a low natural armor class is like looking at like -4, -6, which makes you incredibly hard to hit. So it's really, really worthwhile getting. Even though I can't use it, I can sell it, and this will be worth probably a couple of thousand of gold pieces, which will come in very handy. So I am going to actually head into town and sell the things that I don't want anymore, and on the way we're gonna have an infamous scripted encounter. Anyone who knows the game knows exactly who I am talking about, and if you don't, well, you're in for, I was going to say a treat, but that would be lying. It's more of an anti-treat. You can tell from the name, Noober. Dude's a noob. So this guy will actually just follow you around and talk to you until he gets bored, and he has like 35 dialogues. So if you just wait for him to come to you, it can take absolutely ages. And he's essentially the village idiot. However, your patience will be rewarded eventually with a quite a nice chunk of experience. So he says "what about now" about 30 times. He's like a 3-year-old child in the car. Are we there yet? Are we nearly there yet? Are we nearly there yet? What about now? What about now? Oh. Okay. So I've managed to out-patience him. And yeah, 400 experience points. Not to be sniffed at. Gives me a significant chunk towards my next level. I know we're not playing in a party, but I mentioned Edwin earlier. He's the guy who works for the Thieves Guild in Baldur's Gate 2, and he has a little bit of an accident and turns into Edwina, and one of the quests is to get him back to his normal evil, annoying self. He is mortal enemies with another companion that you can have in the game, the bodyguard of whom is just over here, actually. One of the most famous characters in the whole of PC gaming and the Forgotten Realms entirely. I'm not going to talk to him, because if you talk to him, you either have to kind of kill him or recruit him, and I want to do this solo for the moment, so we will leave him alone, and at some point, probably after we've cleared the Nashkel mines, we'll get him on board to help rescue his witchy mistress. And this guy is the local bounty officer, and anyone with a little bit of a science background will notice the slight corruption in the name Oobleck. Oobleck is a non-Newtonian fluid. So if you've ever played with cornstarch and water and mixed it together, under certain circumstances it will act like a liquid and another like a solid. So I won't go into the technical details because this isn't a physics lesson. But if you chat with him to see see what he's up to, there's a bit of a case of mistaken identity, and either you can run away with the cash. Grey Wolf won't like that, and Grey Wolf is rather tough. But more on him when we actually go to the Nashkel mines area, where he's actually hunting down another bounty. So I'm going to be virtuous because I'm good, and decline the cash, because actually 200 gold pieces at this point is not going to make a huge amount of difference, and doing this actually increases my reputation as well. So at this stage of the game, getting a boost to my reputation, so I'm now popular, hopefully. Well, I've still got 0 on the reaction, so I'm not going to get any discounts yet, but every little helps. Baron is the local mayor, and here he's giving me essentially a quest to go and find out why things are going wrong with the mine, and why the local iron is brittle, and are there any mysterious machinations going on behind the scenes. We will figure out what all of those are in a future video. Here's the local temple. It's the temple of the god Helm. He's kind of like the voyeur god. He's kind of like has this creepy watching eye. He's known as I think the Watcher. In here you can get healed and sort out your reputation, and there's a quest that you have to hand in here that we'll again look at in a future video. The graveyard here is actually quite funny, because the messages on the tombstones are actually kind of like quotes from the development team. So it's when they said animate the dead, poor Tony took it literally. So if you play the game yourself, have a little click on a few of the tombstones and read some of the little Easter eggs that have been left by the development team. I should probably warn you. I found out this by accident, that if there's one tombstone in here, in the original game at least, I haven't actually tried it in the enhanced edition, but if you click on the tombstone too many times, it will actually, the person underneath it, the developer, will actually come up to the surface as this kind of like lish or really powerful zombie and just kill you dead. So let the dead rest. So don't pester the and poke the tombstones too much. But that's something that occasionally passes people by. Up here is the inn. Oh, here's another guy from the Flaming Fist telling me to behave myself. Yeah, we're not going to be trouble. So that's him. Talk down. This guy is a new companion character. He's a belongs to a monk order. I haven't really bothered with any of the new companion characters, to be brutally honest about it. Mainly because the original companions will do the job perfectly well. Thank you very much. The Nashkel Inn is another one of those to avoid with it in the early game, because there's an assassin in here who's a cleric who can cast hold person and other horrible divine spells that will, render, a guy who doesn't have a clarity potion anymore very, very vulnerable to being killed. She is worth killing at some point because her helmet gives you infravision, which allows you to see in the dark. Important if you're playing a human character who doesn't naturally have the infravision, but the thieves can't wear helmets. So I can afford to, just actually leave her alone, not actually be terribly bothered about that particular assassination attempt. I can just kind of like bypass it entirely. Okay, so if I actually need to rest, which I will want to do to recover these couple of hit points, I will actually do that at the carnival, which is where I will go after I pay a visit to the store. The storekeep in here would like you to give him any winter wolf pelts if you come across any winter wolves, which you probably will. And he can also identify pretty much any item in the game for you as well. So I don't need to identify that, my belter piercing and my stealthy boots, because I know what they do, and identifying them doesn't give me any extra bonuses. So I will save the 200 gold for now, and just sell the stuff that I have found. And look at the price I get for that Ankeg plate. Over 4,000. So that's taking me a significant chunk up to being able to afford that set of studded leather. The studded leather +3. So a little bit more work to do, but yeah, we're doing okay for cash. In terms of stuff actually for sale in here, well, other than the standard ammo and standard weapons, there's nothing really to actually spend your money on. There are better stores elsewhere, but in terms of actually being able to sell stuff, this is actually one of the better stores, particularly within the early game, because he will take practically anything, whether it's jewelry, whether it's magical items, and scrolls and documents and things like that. So I'll try and get rid of this lot. So that's the... Oh no, I want to keep that. I'm not selling that because I need that for a quest a little bit later. So we'll leave that in there. And of course we need that for a quest, so we'll keep that as well.
Business has been poor, what with the iron shortage and all.
But everything else I can sell. Another 150 odd gold pieces. So I'm not stinking rich, but I can afford a few goodies, and I'm going to buy those goodies at the carnival. So this is just in the area next door to Nashkel, and you're probably wondering why they have a a carnival on the go when, you know, there are rumours that Baldur's Gate is going to declare war on the country south of the Western Heartlands Arm, which is coincidentally where you actually end up in Baldur's Gate 2. So I'm just going to find the edge of the map. Here we are. Just have a little precautionary quick save. And let's go and see the carnival. So there are quite a few scripted encounters in here and around the fringes of the carnival. There are kind of like random kobolds and things like that. So
My muse shall not speak to such as thee.
oh, hello. Okay, he's a poet and singer. This probably has some kind of meaning somewhere, but yeah, we're not going to worry about that too much. So these tents,
Glad to meet you, friend.
you can
need a
visit.
new tailor. Your clothes are absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, this dude is a little bit of annoying. If you don't cut him off fairly quickly, he'll just follow you around and for a while just taking the mick. So I just cut that off straight away. Oh, hello, another person who wants to talk to me. Okay, what's your favourite act? Great Gazeeb's Exploding Ogre. Yeah, okay. There is actually an exploding ogre. If you're into that kind of thing, I'll let you watch it for yourself, and when you come down and visit the carnival. I've got better things to do, and I want to wrap this video up fairly soon. So there are tents. If I just show you quickly on the map, we have gambling tents. Don't bother. Nothing good ever happens in a gambling tent, and that is advice that you would do well to heed when you actually get to Baldur's Gate as well, where there's another little carnival. Yeah. Yes, there are games in here where you may be able to, you know, gamble money and gain loads and loads of gold, but there are other consequences for going into gambling tents, so I would recommend not to do it. We got several merchants. This guy down here is a scam artist who sells you fake potions, so don't go in there. This guy is worth visiting, and he's not a vendor, but there is kind of like a minor event in there. But playing it solo, probably worth avoiding for a few levels because it involves quite a powerful spellcaster. So I'll show you the reason why I wanted to come to the carnival. There are a few locked chests around the way, you know, you can get a few XP here and there looking in, but there's not really much in them that's, you know, worth stealing. There are a few things with a bit of gold around, but not massive amounts. So you can decide for yourself whether it's worth the time exploring the area and unlocking all the chests and, you know, selling on the, you know, the spears or whatever is in there. But I'm in a hurry, so let's show you what the real reason why we're here.
I've got the best prices this side of Cormier.
So this merchant, very handy in the early game. I'm not going to blow a huge amount of money in here again because I want the the really funky armor, so I need to save up quite a bit of money. But there are a couple of things in here that you want to bear in mind that are useful. The first thing which I am going to buy is this. So this necklace is absolutely amazing for soloing because it is a necklace of missiles. So it effectively allows spellcasters to do fireball. So big huge area of effect, lots and lots of fire damage. If you have a crap Thakao like I do, being able to chuck one of these into the middle of an enemy formation is very handy. It shortens battles with multiple opponents considerably, so I'm going to have that. Another thing that I will probably buy later if I don't find one is this thing, the Topsider's Crutch. So it's a ring that gives humans improvision. So if I don't have one by the time we actually go down to the Nashkel mines, I'll actually come back and pick this up because it will help me just spot the kobolds in the dark from a little bit further away. The other thing in here that you will want to come back to get is this protection from petrification scroll. You may have noticed that there was I mentioned the stone to flesh scroll. If you know your Dungeons and Dragons monsters, you will know that there is a particular type of large reptile that turns people to stone. Those being basilisks. One of the best ways of power leveling a character that you're playing on your own is by going basilisk hunting. I'm not going to do it at level 3. I will try and get another couple of levels just to make my life a little bit easier. But you can get stupendous amounts of experience points from one particular region in the game that's quite near here. So I will come back for that when I want to go basilisk hunting, preferably after I've got my super sexy armor. So I am going to buy that. Okay, you probably notice it has this little number here. This is the number of charges it has, so that's the number of times I can use it to cast the spell. One trick to remember, you can see that my wand of missiles also has a little number on it, and this says I could use this to fire 3 more magic missiles and then the wand would disappear. Okay, bearing in mind that this cost me 3,000 gold, I don't want to, use it up, but there is a little trick.
I've got the best prices this side of Cormier.
He's not actually going to buy it, but hey, yeah, okay, I'll have to find a proper vendor or a vendor who will buy it. If you sell one of these items that have charges back to the vendor, they will top up the number of charges. Not to the value that they necessarily sold you it with, but the maximum amount of charges that this particular thing can actually handle. So when you get down to 1 charge of your necklace of missiles here, sell it, rebuy it, and it will actually have 25 charges. It will cost you a fair bit of gold, but if you don't have a spellcaster in your party because you're playing solo or with a limited number of companions, that's a pretty good investment of the kind of money that you'd be investing in a kind of like a necklace or a ring of protection. So it's really good to remember, never use that last charge, because selling and rebuying rebuying the item will actually recharge it. So that was my plan for this wand of missiles, but apparently he doesn't want it. So okay, we will keep it for now and sell it later. So I will pop that on. So, and we'll just keep the necklace for that quest just here in my inventory. So it's not really, yeah, it's not taking up too much space. I've got plenty for later on. So when you actually look at my you know, action bar here, you can actually see where you would actually access the power of that item. I'm not going to fireball the vendor. That would be a bit stupid and a bit of a waste of money.
It will be done.
So now I...
Good sir, over here.
Oh, hello, Zeke. Yeah. So he wants to sell you a stone to flesh scroll to use on Branwen here. So this statue isn't actually a statue. You can tell because it has a, you know, the little blue ring at the bottom, actually telling you that there's someone still alive in here that's been petrified. Branwen is a cleric, and she's probably the best healer in the game for a good neutral party. If you are slightly more evilly inclined and don't worry about your reputation too much, there is another cleric who is
This way, good sir. Over
pretty
here.
much just as good as well. But we'll meet her when we get to Peldvale. So I was about to say that we're pretty much done for this particular section of the video. We've unlocked the next little chapter in the story, and yeah, that's not worth stealing. I'm just grabbing the experience points here for picking the lock, and well, you know, 56 gold is not to be sniffed at. And I'm just gonna, you know, kind of like bed down and recover these hit points at this little campsite here, because if I, you know, wait around a little longer, eventually Harrison is going to get fatigued, and you know, it's not a good idea to wander around exploring if you're tired, because it gives you a penalty to luck. And as we've seen in this video so far, he finds it difficult to hit anything in as it is. You know, actually, if it wasn't for the gravity, he probably wouldn't be able to hit the ground. So he's going to take a nap. You can actually do it anywhere in this area. You can't do it in Nashkel itself because you'll get woken up by the town guard for not going to the inn and being cheap, or not wanting to get your head taken off by the assassin. But if you sleep anywhere other than next to this campfire, there's a risk that you will get woken by kobolds. You know, they're not terribly dangerous, but they are annoying. So I'm going to take a little
You
nap.
do not dream often, but tonight the visions are vivid indeed.
Ooh.
Long have you walked, but now you find yourself back amidst the stones of Candlekeep. Your former home looms before you, but the gate is closed and barred. Over the walls there is a candle in your old room, but as the light goes out, the bricks surrounding the window closes together. The very walls conspire to keep you at bay. A familiar voice startles you, though it is calm and caring. You cannot go back this way, child. You must go on. Gorion forms before you. Though his image should be comforting, it seems but a shade of his living self. He is dead in your dreams, as in life. The phantom of your foster father gestures toward the blackness of the wood, as though it should be inviting. Perhaps it is, in a way, but the traveling will be hard. As you think this, a smooth and obvious path becomes clear out of the corner of your eye. It seems meant for you, pulls at your very being, and promises to quickly lead you away from the life you once led. Perhaps this would be for the best, but it is a bit too convenient for your liking. You do not wish to dwell upon the loss you have endured, but neither should it be forgotten. Gorion smiles and fades away. The pull becomes a push, but you turn away, steadfast in your new direction. The way is not quite as clear, but it is sure to be interesting nonetheless. A whisper follows as you stride away, something vestigial and sinister that you recognize, but yet have never heard. You will learn. You don't look back.
Ooh, creepy. We are starting a new chapter. And from that little zingy sound, you can see that we've actually acquired a new ability. So it's a spell-like ability. These change according to your alignment. Because I'm chaotic good, I will get this Cure Light Wounds ability, which is, yeah, quite useful, because otherwise I'm restricted to using potions for my healing, and you know, just resting. So I can cast this once per day, gives me an extra 8 hit points, so, or recovers 8 hit points would be more precise. So, excuse me. As you go through the story and uncover more and more of the plot, you will pick up a few more of these extra little abilities. So that's probably enough for now. So let's have a quick look at the world map and see how we are getting on. So we have travelled all the way from Candlekeep up to the Friendly Arm Inn, a full day's walk away, through Beregost, been told what to do in terms of figuring out where to go to sort out the trouble at the Nashkel mines. I am going to ignore that completely, because I don't really have enough experience points and levels yet to be able to do this safely as a solo character. So what I'm going to do instead is this wild expanse here. I'm going to go a wandering now that I am, you know, nicely equipped with the best stuff, the best equipment that I can afford, and I've got a couple of quests that I can turn in when I eventually make it back to Beregost, hopefully to buy my Shadow Armor +3, but that will probably take a few more videos, but as long-term goals go, getting some really nice, expensive, sexy armor that I won't need to change for the rest of the game before I even sort out the problems in the Nashkel mines is definitely the way to go as a solo character. So we will go west next time. So just like my character, since it's as time of when I'm recording is about 6 minutes to midnight, I think it's time to go and have a rest. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you next time.